it has to be the most important archaeological site ever in the history of mankind.
It's one of the highest peaks here in the Taurus Mountains.
Look at this view! This is absolutely incredible.
Holy moly! Now, okay, this is steep. The brakes have overheated.
Can you hurry up, please?
We're Marion and Chris. In 2018, we quit the 9-to-5 and bought Trudy, our camper van.
We are currently on an adventure to drive the circumference of the world.
You join us as we explore the east of Turkey.
With mystical lands, adventurous train rides, great wild camping spots, and interesting characters.
So we've driven about 20 minutes out of the city and we've arrived at Gobekli Tepe. So I'm excited. Let's go and have a look. Welcome to Gobekli Tepe, located 20 kilometers outside the city of Şanlıurfa in the southeast corner of Turkey. At 12,000 years old, it's 3 times as old as the pyramids, or 6,000 years older than Stonehenge. It was thought that 12,000 years ago, mankind were still hunter-gatherers. But to feed the quantity of workforce needed to make this structure, they would have needed more than just hunting. It's now believed that this is the birthplace of farming. So yeah, we really are out in the sticks of Şanlıurfa here. One thing's for sure, it's a definite tourist attraction. There's lots of tour buses. Trudy's parked up there. And this is the visitor centre, which is where we're going to start. The wind's picked up, so I do apologise if the wind is making a bit of noise, but that was absolutely fascinating. Inside the centre there, they play a movie telling you the history of this particular site. What's amazing is it's the first religious site located in the world. Originally they thought that agriculture came first and that man then developed and then worship came from that. But now they're questioning that. They're actually saying that the worship with all the workers here created the need for agriculture. I'm excited to go and see it. So as you come in, no, you missed it. Go on. There's a little shuttle bus that takes you up there. Teşekkürler. So after literally like a 1-2 minute minibus ride, we have arrived at the archaeological site. You can see it in the distance behind me. There's a stunning view on the walk up to the site. You can see for miles. Wow, look at that. They say that the actual site here is 4 football pitches big, and they've only just started uncovering it.
A lot of academics are working hard to work it all out and understand the full story, but they believe that some of the monoliths represented gods and that the animals that are depicted and carved out on these rocks would have shown symbols of worship.
When you look at structures like Stonehenge, you know the amount of work that went in to move those rocks. And the size of some of these stones, it's just mind-blowing to think of the amount of labour that it would have needed to make them. Nearly 12,000 years old, and you can still clearly see engravings of animals and shapes on side of these structures.
It's one of these times where our channel cannot possibly touch how important this site is. Both the National Geographic and the BBC did a long full documentary on this site and I urge you to watch it. It is mind-blowing.
And just looking to the side, these are sites that they're still excavating, and you can see that there's so much more to discover here. One thing's for sure, the people that were making this 12,000 years ago probably never imagined that there would be a roof over it and thousands of tourists walking down, looking down on what they built. Can you just imagine what life would have been like back then?
It has to be the most important archaeological site ever in the history of mankind. And the mysteries behind it are still being discovered. And we're here.
Looking at the crowds coming up, I think our timing was perfectly good. Back to Trudy and try and find somewhere to park up for the night. So after leaving Gobekli Tepe yesterday, we drove a couple of hours north. It started getting dark and we ended up pulling over in our first Turkish truck stop, which was amazing. We had a good dinner, and then the next day we drove up to this spot here, which is by a beautiful lake. There's nobody else here. It's very, very quiet. It is actually a park, but it's just perfect. And today we are heading about an hour and a half north into the mountains, high up, to a very special place called Mount Nemrut. We want to say a massive thank you to Surfshark VPN for sponsoring today's video. For those of you that don't know what a VPN is, it stands for Virtual Private Network. Basically, by creating an encrypted tunnel, it keeps you safe while you're surfing online.
We travel full-time and often use public Wi-Fi, and by using Surfshark VPN, we know that we are keeping our online presence and data safe.
But there's more to Surfshark than just online security. With the click of a button, you can change your virtual location, which means the internet thinks your computer is somewhere completely different.
Oh, it makes me feel naughty every time I do it.
And by doing this, it unlocks content that wouldn't normally be available in your area. It can also prevent companies charging you more based on your location, known as price discrimination.
Yes, that's a thing.
And right now, Surfshark is offering you a very special holiday deal. By clicking the link in the description below and using the code TREADTHEGLOBE, you get a whopping 83% discount and 4 months free. Back to the show. Ready to hit the road?
I am indeed.
Let's go. Just after the bridge that we crossed, there was an army stop, and they're just checking everybody that goes over the bridge. They're there to protect the bridge, and they were so friendly and welcoming, saying welcome to Turkey, and don't be put off by the police and army stops. They're there just to keep everybody safe, and they're all good. So the drive up to Mount Nemrut is about an hour today. It's way up in the mountains, and we were warned that there's actually 2 roads that go up there. There's a good one and a not so good one, and we put it into Google Maps and it's giving us 2 different directions. So it's a bit of a, we're going to have to just figure it out as we go along, because I'm not sure which is the good and which is the bad. When we first came to Turkey and we saw these massive lorries piled up high, we thought it must be overloaded. I mean, look at the size of that. But it is actually in fact carrying cotton, which is very light. That's why they are so big. Okay, we can see the brown sign for Nemrut there. So we're assuming this is the right road to take. So it didn't take long when we're coming through a village, and I can see some locals smiling at us. Hopefully they're smiling, not because they're like, why are you driving down this road?
You didn't listen to that brown sign, did you? Why would you do that?
It's a lovely drive up here with these grand looking mountains, and we're going higher and higher. So coming up, there's lots of little restaurants and campsites. You can see the tourism. So looking at the app here, we're 1130 meters high and still going up.
Oh, my ears just popped.
That's because we're going up quite quick. Climbing up this high, you can feel the air temperature dropping quite quickly. 1460 meters now. So we're just coming up to lovely goats on the road. This is what mountain life's about. Protected by a beautiful dog.
Oh, two.
Look at these dogs, and they've actually got the spikes around the neck to stop them getting bitten by bears and things like that.
Morning, Pub. Oh wow, look at these goats, they're gorgeous.
What a lovely sight in the morning, isn't it?
Beautiful as that.
Merhaba! The road's still okay. It's a bit thinner and there's a little bit of a drop on the side, but nothing compared to some of the roads we've done in Georgia and in the north of Turkey at the moment. Oh, we've made it to the top. The road was fine. There you go, my sweetness. There's a car park that you park in as you come up the hill, and then I think there's a visitor centre, and I think you have to get the bus up to the top. So let's
Breezy.
it is. We've got the long trousers on, and it's going to be a bit of a chilly walk up, but it's all good. So the gentleman was just saying we buy a ticket and then we can drive Trudy up to the top. Oh, there's a little visitor centre here, and they've got little statues of what we're going to see at the top there. There you go. So you can get in with your museum card. Marianne lost hers and she spent like the last 15 minutes in the van looking for it, haven't you, Marianne?
I lose things, çok teşekkürler.
Okay, so we're all organised. The shuttle bus isn't actually running at the moment due to probably lack of tourism. We've met Doug, an American guy who rented a bike in Croatia and has driven here, and he's only got 2 weeks to get back. We're gonna go find him in Ohio somewhere. And
he can't actually understand what I'm saying because my English isn't clear enough.
but
is she still talking?
She's talking French. So jump back into Trudy. We've got a short drive to the top, and then we have a 600-meter walk to get to the summit. There you go, you can see it in the distance. So we're driving up there and then we have a walk up to the top. Fantastic. I'm excited.
I'm excited. It doesn't look as far as I thought it was going to be, but I suppose it's all uphill.
It's all uphill, Marianne. Bit of hiking. Look at these views, are stunning. Look at this view. We are literally, does that not feel like we're on top of the world? We've got a rock under Trudy just in case, because it's a long way down. Right, let's get our steps in. So there's actually two paths, the western and the eastern. We're going up the eastern. It's about a 600-meter walk, and just to show you how cold it is, it says there is a risk due to ice. It's not icy today, but the wind is pretty cold. The air is quite thin this high up. This site's been on the World Heritage list since 1987. Should be famous for its views. We've driven, Shanlufa's this direction, we've driven round. Later today, we're driving round the lake here and heading down towards Gaziantep, which is down in this direction. Just when you've walked up that bit, you come over the brow and realise you got all of that bit. It's a fair walk. The pathway all the way up is really well laid, very solid underfoot. There's no loose rocks or anything you have to walk up.
And they've got nice bench seats all the way up.
For a rest stop.
As Chris said, the footing and the pathway is really good, but we've just arrived at this bit here, so it's a little bit more tricky, and got to be careful when you step on things because there's quite a lot of loose rocks and these are quite shiny. Be careful.
All good.
Don't fall off the cliff.
Made it pretty well to the top now, and fantastic views. I said it already, but yeah, amazing. So we're going to follow the path around the top of the mountain now, taking these views. I love the fact there's no barriers by the side. Just don't step onto the gravel on the side.
There are barriers on that side though.
There's barriers to stop you going up, but not to stop you going down. Welcome to Mount Nemrut, located in the Taurus Mountains and 2.5 hours drive north of Shanlufa. Not to be confused with the other Mount Nemrut, which is by Lake Van. We're at the top of Mount Nemrut, 2,134 meters high. It's one of the highest peaks here in the Taurus Mountains.
And it's very windy.
It is very windy. This is one of Turkey's most famous ancient sites, and are not to be missed if you come to the southeast corner of Turkey. The statues were actually constructed way back to 62 BC. The original statues towered 8 to 9 meters high. Over the years they've been destroyed by earthquakes and conflicts within the region. They were built originally for King Antiochus. The statues actually include the king himself, eagle, a lion, and some of the gods like Apollo, Zeus and Hercules.
The statues are all here. They've got a protective rope here and it says do not cross the protection lines there to make sure people don't start going up and clambering over them. But in front of the statues as well, they've got these boards that explain all the different statues, what they meant, what they depicted and what they would have looked like in olden days to get your imagination going. What a smashing place. And then you've got this altar type thing up here and you can climb up and get the most wonderful, look at this view. This is absolutely incredible. And in fact you can see the dodgy road that you can come up on, which is that one.
So we're just walking around the other side. There's another terrace, I believe, but look at this view on the way down on the other side of the summit here. Coming round to the other side, they've also got the king and the lion, the eagle, and it's great to have both sides of the mountain. Make sure you visit both, because depending where the sun will be, the light will be better on one side or the other, and also the wind noise if you're making videos. Absolutely fantastic, the detail on these. And there's the pathway down, all the way down on the other side, and we're parked somewhere over there. So that was absolutely fantastic. We've jumped back into Trudi, and we're going to head 2 or 3 hours drive towards Gaziantep, find somewhere nice to park up for the night, and just enjoy the drive this afternoon with these wonderful blue skies. The drive down's quite steep. Poor Trudi's brakes. I don't think it'll be long before we can smell them.
Can you hurry up, please? I'm literally got my foot flat on the floor.
That's all right, as long as it's stopping the van. Oh, they stink. There you go. There's a. Let me put the other one. Stop, stop, stop.
I am stopped. I've got my foot flat on.
Okay, let me get some rocks. So we're going down the hill. It's so steep that the brakes have overheated and they're not working particularly well at the moment. Okay, there's one under each wheel now. So what we're going to do, we're going to give Trudi half an hour to cool down and see. But it's not the best place to have dodgy brakes when you're in a mountain. Okay, we've given the brakes probably about 45 minutes to cool down, and they're feeling better now, so slow and steady, and we'll just see how we go. Just old girl. Come on, Truders. Just look at that view, that's mad view. Trudi's doing alright, she's holding her own, we're going nice and slow, not picking up any momentum. Holy moly! Now, okay, this is steep, this is very steep, but I think once we've actually got to the bottom of here, we've done the worst of it. Driving down here, there's a huge rock with a castle on top. Actually looks like something from the Games of Thrones.
Winter is coming.
Looks like the road's gone a bit dodge.
What road?
What road? But we'll just keep following it through. We've got about 45 minutes to go. We should just about get there before it gets dark. Well, after a few hours drive, we have arrived just on the outskirts of Halfeti, here on the river. We made it just before dark. We're all parked up, and we're gonna go and get some food, and we will see you in the morning.